The best Monday Night Wars side switches. The Monday Night Wars was the biggest boom period in pro wrestling. No matter if you were a Raw or a Nitro fan, Monday nights were wrestling nights, and it was a time when you never knew what was going to happen. Even all these years after the war ended, the WWE still produces amazing content based on this time period. That is why today we thought we would have some fun and look at some of the talents that switched sides during the Monday Night Wars.
What in the hell is he doing here? Get the camera off of him! Get him out of here! Get the camera off of him!
We want to welcome you to this look back on the awesomeness that was 90s pro wrestling and encourage you to subscribe if you like classic and modern wrestling as much as we do. Please also leave us a like and do not be shy about sharing your own opinions about today's topic in the comments section down below. Before we give you our list, we do need to let you know that this is our list. These are our own personal picks for the best Monday Night Wars side switches. This is not an official list. However, we do encourage you to leave your own list in the comments section, as debating this kind of stuff is a huge part of what makes talking about the Monday Night Wars so much fun. The best Monday Night Wars side switches. Here's our list of the best Monday Night Wars side switches. These are in no particular order, but these are the ones that spring to mind when we think of the crazy switches that happened during this time. X-Pac. In 1998, the new DX would be formed the night after WrestleMania 14, and a huge part of that was X-Pac. No matter if you call him the 1-2-3 Kid or 6, this was a huge jump. And while he may not have been a huge star on Nitro at the time, he did make the jump. His promo on this night was amazing stuff indeed, and really did blur the lines of what is real and what's a story. Again, he may not have been one of the biggest stars on WCW television when he jumped, but his impact as part of the new DX was huge. He would go on to have many amazing matches during his time with the WWF, and even ended up inducted into the Hall of Fame with his fellow DX members.
Going to kick your flyweight ass.
Big Show. In early 1999, the WWF scored big when they landed the Big Show. He would make his debut during the St. Valentine's Day Massacre cage match between Steve Austin and Mr. McMahon, and people were mind blown. He was a legit WCW main event star, and now here he is in the WWF. Big Show would go on to have a legendary career in the WWF, but he was one of the first real indicators that the WWF was really becoming the #1 company again. An interesting bit of trivia about Big Show's jump is that his first action figure was actually in development before he made the jump. Jack Pacific, who had the WWF license at the time, managed to photograph the Big Show for his action figure while he was at a convention working for WCW. Lex Luger. We had to have Lex Luger on this list. Just days after saving Diesel at SummerSlam 1995, he shows up on Nitro.
What in the hell is he doing here? Get the camera off of him!
The story about Lex leaving the WWF hanging over a new contract is fascinating stuff indeed. It really showed just how ruthless and clever Eric Bischoff was when it came to making waves on Monday Nitro. This was a massive reveal on the first Monday Night Nitro, and really set the tone that anything could happen on Monday nights now. This was before the time we fans knew all the dealings of a wrestler's contract. So seeing Luger show up so soon after being on a major WWF pay-per-view really was shocking. One of the craziest things about this is that it had been talked about that Eric Bischoff was not even keen on bringing Luger back. He did it as a favor to Sting. But it would be one of the major talking points during the early days of WCW Nitro. Vader. While many fans consider the way that his career panned out in the WWF was terrible, the fact of the matter is that Vader was a massive star for WCW, and he would be the first big WCW star to make the jump from WCW to the WWF during the Monday Night Wars. Vader was a monster, and the WWF did a great job of making him seem like a legit main event threat, thanks to the vignettes they would run leading up to the 1996 Royal Rumble. However, the way he was effortlessly dumped out by Shawn Michaels, along with his booking throughout 1996, really meant that he never became the monster in the WWF that he had been elsewhere. Let us know what your thoughts are about the way Vader was booked during his run in the WWF. Medusa, Alundra Blaze. While her overall impact may not have been huge in the grand scheme of things, when Alundra Blaze left the WWF to go back to WCW and her Medusa name, she took with her the WWF Women's Championship that she'd done a great job of making as relevant as she possibly could in the mid-90s. It was truly a shocking moment not to just see a WWF performer show up on WCW television, but she threw the WWF Women's Championship in the trash. This bothered the WWF so much that they would not have a women's champion for many years after this. It is such an iconic moment that this video clip is one that the WWF still shows to this day.
This is the WWE Women's Championship belt.
That indeed it is.
Trash can.
What were your thoughts on Medusa throwing the WWF Women's Championship in the trash? Do you think this was a time when Eric Bischoff went too far? Or did you think it was awesome? The Radicals. Even though the Radicals features He Who Should Not Be Named, WCW letting 4 wrestlers of this level of talent walk out at the same time is just mind-blowing. In early 2000, the WWF struck gold when Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, and Dean Malenko all made the jump to the WWF. Each of these guys would be given their time to shine, and while Benoit and Guerrero would go on to be absolute superstars and world champions, even Saturn and Malenko had their storylines and fun moments during their WWF careers. While these are 4 top-level talents, it's still, after all these years later, insane to think that WCW would just let all 4 of these talented performers walk at the same time. Do you guys think that WCW letting all 4 of these guys leave at the same time is a prime example of how bad management was during this time? Be sure to give your opinion on this in the comments section. Chris Jericho. By the time 1999 came around, WWF was truly the biggest game in town, and they took a solid mid-carder in Chris Jericho and made him a megastar. His debut in the summer of 1999 is one of the greatest of all time. His verbal sparring with The Rock was a ton of fun and put him right at the top instantly. While he would take a little while to really find his footing, by the end of 1999, Y2J was a real fan favourite and on his way to becoming one of the biggest stars in the company. He, along with the likes of X-Pac the year prior, Big Show earlier in 1999, and the Radicals, showed that the WWF was more focused on the young and hungry talent that was looking to take wrestling to the next level. Has there been a better debut in wrestling history than Chris Jericho in the WWF? If you think there is, we'd love to hear about it down below. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. We decided to put these two together, even though they did not jump at the exact same time. This is what really turned the tide and had WCW become the #1 wrestling company in the world for a time. Seeing 2 huge WWF stars appear on WCW Nitro was truly shocking at this time. Of course, adding Hulk Hogan to the mix would really send things to the next level. But there's no denying that seeing Scott Hall walk through the crowd during that infamous episode of Monday Night Nitro is one of the biggest moments from the entire Monday Night Wars saga. Do you remember watching WCW Monday Nitro when Hall and Nash showed up? Sound off in the comments section. We'd love to hear your memories of this iconic night in pro wrestling history. These are our picks, but this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the crazy stuff that went on during this time. As always, thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe for more fun wrestling content. Plus, be sure to let us know your own picks in the comments section down below.